is the Jacksonville Jaguars, who were rough last year with a 4-13 record overall. That led them to hire a brand new head coach in Liam Cohen, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers offensive coordinator, who is now the new Jaguars head coach, trying to turn around that offense with Trevor Lawrence there. They traded up from number 5 to number 2 to get Travis Hunter, in our opinion, the best player in the NFL draft, to play receiver and quarterback for Jacksonville right now. But yeah, 4-13 records all after back-to-back in 9 and 8 years. This is a big year for Trevor Lawrence, and obviously a big first year for Liam Cohen too.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think for Lawrence, especially staying healthy all 17 games. Obviously, that's not all his fault. Their offensive line has not been great throughout his career in Jacksonville. But you talk about a team that's now bringing in, one of the offensive masterminds. We've seen it at Kentucky. We've seen him as the OC of the Rams. We've seen him last year. Did a great job with Baker Mayfield and the Buccaneers. And I think you're expecting Liam Cohen to come in here with Trevor Lawrence and with this potentially dynamic pair of receivers. And to me, that's their biggest strength right now. As you look at this offense and you go, they have Brian Thomas Jr., who I think even as a first-round pick had a way better rookie year than we thought he would. And now they traded up for Travis Hunter to really change the dynamic of this team to be, he was 7th in college football in receiving grade last year. He was 7th in coverage grade. We'll see how much he plays both ways, but I think the emphasis early is going to be on him offensively as the second receiver in this offense. At them, Parker Washington in the slot. They're going to still try to run the football. Tank Bigsby, Travis Etienne, Bashal Tutin as the third guy they drafted this year. So I think you're really talking about a potentially explosive offense, but one that's also going to emphasize yards after catch like they did in Tampa Bay, spreading the ball around, getting it out quicker, right? That's what Baker Mayfield did last year. He's one of the best quarterbacks in football at just moving the chains. They need to get Trevor Lawrence to do that this year, but they've got a shot with these two dynamic receivers on the outside.
Yeah, we give the Jaguars a B+ for their draft and a C+ in free agency. So obviously the biggest strength is a position where Travis Hunter should help out at wide receiver. Biggest weakness, also a spot where Travis Hunter can help out at. That's the secondary right now. Last year, they were 26th in coverage grade. Safety, they really struggled at safety last year. They were dead last in coverage grade at safety. But you have some solid corners. You have Travis Hunter, obviously, Tyson Campbell, Jordan Lewis, Darian Jones. But there's a lot of question marks at safety right now for Jacksonville. So that's the biggest question mark. I know Andre Sisco is no longer with the team either. So, safety is really where I have a big question mark with Jacksonville.
Yeah,
right
I think a couple of themes for Jacksonville last year. It seemed like they hit a point where they were just so... they just weren't. It was like the effort was down. They were so just the whole psyche of the team felt off. Offensively, defensively, the secondary, it just wasn't great. And they kept getting thrown out there in man-to-man coverage when they were often overmatched. I think even just the emotional lift of having a new regime, of having Liam Cohen, of having James Gladstone, that could help in the secondary as well. But I'm with you. I'm concerned about the safety position where they lost Sisco, their highest-graded player. They didn't bring in much. They drafted Caleb Ransaw from Tulane in the 3rd round. He's going to play some safety. I just think that's one of the concerns is to me, both schematically and just emotionally, getting these guys to play at the level that you want them to play at, because they didn't do it for most of last year.
So, Dalton, tell me more about Trevor Lawrence, who's entering a big year 5 now for him with a brand new head coach in Liam Cohen, with Travis Hunter, with Brian Thomas Jr. What should we expect from Trevor Lawrence, and what is a pivotal year 5?
I mean, I think you should expect better with better play calling in this offense. To me, the story of Trevor Lawrence's career comes down to habits, right? Like his rookie year with Urban Meyer as their head coach, he was just lost. And I think there's times when you see when his footwork is tight and compact and his delivery is right, he's really good. He's got one of the better big-time throw rates in the NFL since he's come into the league. I think he's one of the best deep passers in the NFL. When he allows that to come to him. Last year, he had the 2nd highest average depth of target in the NFL, I believe, behind Anthony Richardson, forcing it too much. I've talked about this in Green Bay with Jordan Love also, forcing it way too much, trying to carry the team, trying to hit home runs constantly. And the fun part about this offense now is that Liam Cohen, he actually reeled Baker Mayfield back in Tampa. I think Mayfield had, I want to say, the lowest average depth of target or 2nd lowest average depth of target of his career last year, and he led the league in passing touchdowns. So you look at what Lawrence might be able to do and the way that Cohen should be able to reel him back in, that's what he needs, right? Set up those deep shots. You're going to have a couple of deep threats in Brian Thomas, in Travis Hunter, but you have to wait for it. You have to set it up. You have to run the offense first before you force it. That's what I see out of Lawrence. When he gets hot and he's making those big-time throws, man, oh man, he can be a top 8 to 10 quarterback in this league. He's got that level of talent, and he's mobile. He can take off and run a little bit. But I think it's the same problem I see in Green Bay with Jordan Love last year was you're forcing it.
Yeah.
Stop forcing it. Let it come to you. Take what the defense gives you first.
And it's worth mentioning, too, Liam Cohen will now be Trevor Lawrence's 4th head coach in 5 years now. So he hasn't had stability at all in Jacksonville. So hopefully now with Liam Cohen there, who seems like the long-term answer, hopefully, at head coach. Now with Brian Thomas Jr., who we'll talk about in just a second. And then now with Travis Hunter, too, the best player in the 2025 draft. Maybe it'll look a lot better for Trevor Lawrence. He can finally live up to the insane hype he had coming out of college at Clemson. The offensive player spot, like I mentioned before, Brian Thomas Jr., who really had an incredible rookie year, the first-round pick out of LSU. 83.4 receiving grade. That was top 20 in the NFL, and it was 3rd among all rookies in the NFL behind Malik Nabers, his former college teammate, and Lab McConkey. He was really good after the catch. It wasn't really the case at LSU. It was really more of a deep threat at LSU. He had the 4th most yards after the catch in the NFL last year, and he was still a great deep threat for Trevor Lawrence, too. Obviously, Dalton just talked about it, loves to throw down the field, too. So Brian Thomas Jr., I liked him coming out of LSU. I did not expect this from him coming out of LSU, though.
One of maybe the last positive development under Doug Peterson last year as their head coach was when Trevor Lawrence was hurt. He missed the back half of the season, the last 5-6 games. When Mac Jones was playing, and Mac Jones is basically the opposite of Trevor Lawrence. Yeah. He's not going to sling it deep downfield like that. It was the Jaguars finding ways to still get Brian Thomas the ball, moving him around the formation like some of the elite weapons in the NFL do, and finding out, man, this guy can actually be really dangerous after the catch. He can take a shallow cross 60 yards if you want him to. He's got that level of speed, right? So I think that's something that Liam Cohen, when he sees that on the tape from the last handful of games last year, seeing how Brian Thomas dominated after the catch, that's a dimension, like you mentioned, he didn't have it at LSU. I think if you have that consistently now in this offense, the way that Liam Cohen runs it, Brian Thomas is going to be among the league leaders in yards after catch again if he's used the same way he was down the stretch last year.
So they have a star wide receiver in Brian Thomas Jr. and Dalton, also a star edge rusher in Josh Hines-Allen, too.
Yeah, their defense starts with Josh Hines-Allen. He's one of the best pass rushers in football. Obviously, they have a couple other solid ones. You've got Trayvon Walker on the other side on the edge. You've got Eric Armstead on the inside. But it starts and ends with Hines-Allen, right? 83.4 pass rush grade last year, 11th in the NFL, 63 pressures in the regular season, a top 10 mark in the league. Over the past 3 years, he's 7th in pass rush grade and total pressures among all edge defenders. And again, defensive end, edge defender might be the most stacked position right now in the NFL, and Hines-Allen is absolutely one of the top at least 10 to 12 guys there. Just every single year gets it done, creates pressure on opposing quarterbacks, and he's really the first problem that you think about when going against this Jaguars defense.
Over the last 2 years, Josh Hines-Allen has 152 pressures, the only edge rushers in the NFL with more pressures over the last 2 years. Micah Parsons, Myles Garrett, Nick Bosa, Trey Hendrickson. That's it.
And it feels like you get those first 4 guys mentioned, maybe with a couple others all the time when talking about elite edge rushers. Hines-Allen's right there with him.
Yeah.
Right? He continues to do it no matter how badly things are going for Jacksonville on the back end, on offense, whatever. He just makes it happen off of the edge. He's really become one of the best players in football.
And Trayvon Walker seems to be getting better with every year now in Jacksonville. So hopefully, him, the number 1 overall pick in 2022, and Josh Hines-Allen could form one of the best edge duos, hopefully, for that Jacksonville defense very, very soon. The rookie to watch is obvious. It's Travis Hunter. Again, the best player in last year's draft, the reigning Heisman Trophy winner, out of Colorado, too. He was simply incredible at Colorado last year. The best two-way player we've ever seen in college football. He's legitimately a top 5 receiver and a top 5 corner in college football. He was incredible. 7th in receiving grade last year in the country, 3rd in coverage grade in the country. Just a world-class player on both sides of the ball. And Dalton, he really could be the Shohei Ohtani of the NFL because he's going to play receiver, probably start receiver for the Jaguars, and also be a nice depth piece at corner who could also start some games for them at corner. And also a really valuable part about Travis Hunter, if one of your starting corners goes down, he could play corner full time for you. And the opposite too. If one of your receivers goes down, like Brian Thomas Jr., he could be your number one receiver too.
No, absolutely. I think you saw in their first preseason game what the usage is going to be for now. He ran with the starting offense at wide receiver. He was with the second defense at corner, and they're a little more deep at corner now with Tyson Campbell, with Jordan Lewis, with Jerrion Jones in the slot. I think Hunter, we're going to see him play both ways some. They're going to try to limit it. They're not going to play him for 1,400 snaps in 11, 12 games like Colorado did. But I think the focus is first and foremost going to be at wide receiver. But there are people who think he's actually a more talented cornerback than wide receiver. I get it. I mean, both ways. I think he could be an all-pro caliber player on either side of the ball. We'll see eventually if that turns into just one way. But the fact that we even have an opportunity to watch this, right, like we did the last couple of years at Colorado, and watch it on the NFL level and see it, can he really do it? Can he hold up physically is going to be a big thing. He got banged up over the last couple of years at Colorado, right? It's the occasional, made a tackle, shoulder, it dinged up, things like that. But I think the focus first is going to be on offense. They have to fix this offense. Liam Cohen's an offensive coach. They did bring in Hunter to change the culture of this team and bring just that electric type of talent all the way around. But I think you're going to see him both ways this year, and he could be really good both ways.
What were your comps for him coming out? Wasn't it Jefferson on receiver and then
offensively? I thought he moved like Justin Jefferson. My actual comp for him I have in my notes is Spider-Man. Yeah, legitimately. I was just like this. I don't even know. I mean, Justin Jefferson. I felt like Hunter moved in a similar way as Jefferson. A corner. I don't remember if I had one at corner.
I've heard a lot of Champ Bailey for him.
I know Trevor had a Champ Bailey comp. Yeah. I mean, when you're talking about those types of names, just on one side, and the fact that this is the same person in the same body doing both, it's just insane. He's by far the most fascinating. I know there's some good ones. Obviously, the quarterbacks, Abdul Carter. There's some other really good rookies we're going to watch. This is one of the most fascinating things we've ever watched in the NFL.
Yes.
I mean, and they traded a haul to get up next year's first-round pick to go up and go get him. They believe this guy could be a game changer.
I know we're getting ahead of ourselves, but if he legitimately plays both sides and plays at the level we think he can at both sides, he could be the most valuable non-quarterback in the NFL. And then whatever his contract is going to be after his rookie deal is going to be fascinating. Because how much do you pay that guy who could play both ways is going to be really, really fascinating. Maybe he gets $40+, $50+ million a year if he is a wide receiver and a corner and an elite one at both too. Again, getting ahead of ourselves. He hasn't really played in an NFL regular season game yet, but we'll see with Travis Hunter. I can't wait to watch him. I think he's right now top 5 in betting odds for offensive rookie of the year and for defensive rookie of the year next year. But the best bet to make for the Jaguars is to win the AFC South at plus 310 right now. You get it at BetMGM. Ben says that the Titans are coming off a season where they're the number 1 overall pick. Colts have major question marks at quarterback with Anthony Richardson, injured in the preseason opener. And the Texans are rightful favorites, he says, but they do have major offensive line concerns. So if you can get the Jaguars right now at 3-1 with a healthier Trevor Lawrence, with Travis Hunter coming in, with a brand new play caller, Liam Cohen, who's been an elite play caller pretty much everywhere he's gone too. I like that too at 300 plus 310 right now. That's pretty good odds for Jacksonville.
Yeah, I got to talk to Ben about this one, and he really did paint the whole picture. And this is where you start to talk about, okay, the door is at least open. If the Texans are going to have a bottom 5 or the worst offensive line in football, the door is open for everybody else. When you look at the Jaguars, like you said, I think even just on an emotional level, they should play better football this year with Liam Cohen. We'll see what Anthony Campanile can do with this defense and just the intangible emphasis that James Gladstone has for building this roster. You've got the second best quarterback in the division. You've got a darn good receiver pair that maybe I could be the best in the division, right? Got a solid pass rush starting with Josh Hines-Allen. I think the secondary needs to get better. Their offensive line itself needs to be better, especially in the run game. But if you build that road, you paint that picture, and you go, okay, just like a few years ago, can the Jags, with some other teams' faults, get to 9-8 even, if that could win this division? Because it's possible that could win this division if the Texans start sliding. Then you start to think about it, and you go, okay, if Trevor Lawrence gets back to the 2022 form, right, in the first half of 2023 before the injuries and everything fell apart, you have that road. And again, I think C.J. Stroud is the best quarterback in this division for the moment. Trevor Lawrence is clearly second.
I would argue it's probably the most wide open division in the NFL. I would say it's probably the worst division in the NFL too, which means though the Jaguars have an opportunity to, like I said, kick the door down and become the winners of the AFC South. So in a wide open division like that, yeah, plus 310 right now. I agree with it. I think Jacksonville could absolutely have a chance at winning this division next year with all the question marks Houston has, and Indianapolis obviously too at the quarterback, and then Titans are the worst team in the NFL last year too. So over under for Jacksonville, Dalton, is set at 7.5 right now. You're going over or under for the Jaguars, and what do you expect for them this year?
Oh, this is one that's going to take some. So they and the Colts have the same win total.
Yeah,
is that what the Colts were at 7.5?
I also going to go over. I think. I actually have more faith in them to go over than the Colts. So I'm going to go over for Jacksonville. I really like Liam Cohen. I obviously think Trevor Lawrence has a lot of potential. Love Travis Hunter. Love that him and Brian Thomas Jr. together. I like the defensive line too. So I'll go over. I think they're going to go over 7.5 this year.
This is a schedule one here. Oh, boy. Houston twice, at San Fran, Kansas City, Seattle, Rams, at Raiders, at Cardinals, at Denver. Oof. 7.5. For the moment, and I'll see. I assume. I think we're doing a prediction episode, me and Trevor, probably before the season starts. But I'm going to take the under. I still have questions about this offensive line, this run game. Trevor Lawrence is going to take some time to get acclimated to another new offense. Questions in the secondary, despite some solid additions. I think I'm going to take the under. I'm looking at this schedule. There's a lot of tough in this schedule. I think it's a competitive division. Wouldn't shock me if they split with all three teams in the division. It seems like that's how it goes a lot of times with these teams sometimes being so evenly matched. I'm going to take the under. I see the potential. There's a road. And again, this AFC South, considering all these situations these teams are in, all such wide ranges of outcomes, I'm going to stick with the under. I think they do look better just functionally, especially certain parts of the team. But this is another team I have offensive line questions about too. I'm going to go under there.
Okay. Well, you're a hater. I'm going over for Jaguars.
It is what it is. Unless Travis Hunter is just the greatest football player we've ever seen. Hey, we have another story, too.
There's a possibility. There really is a possibility for that to happen. So we'll see. I'll go over for Jacksonville, though, at 7.5.